So we have that glimmer of hope, but that glimmer of hope starts out with a huge hurdle right out of the gate. And that hurdle came to us from the Kentucky Supreme Court, which, as many of you know, ruled that doctors could not bring a challenge to the state abortion bans on behalf of their patients. Unprecedented ruling. The Kentucky Supreme Court said that a patient is going to have to bring that challenge. So we have been working for months to identify a pregnant Kentuckian who is seeking an abortion to represent in this challenge. As you can imagine, asking someone to file a lawsuit while they're navigating the logistics and expenses of having to flee this forced pregnancy state in order to find abortion care, it's a little difficult when you say, oh, and would you also like to take on a major lawsuit with us as well? So we haven't found that person or persons yet, but I'm confident that we will. And when we do, we at the ACLU stand ready to bring that challenge in state court. We have set up a hotline for people who may be interested in filing with us. We've shared this number with healthcare providers, with KHJN, with hotlines folks are calling in order to get information about seeking access. We've shared it with people who are closest to folks who are reaching out to find care. There's a number that I'll share when we aren't live streaming this. There's a hotline that we have set up. I will share that number. We ask that you don't share it on social media or give it out in blanket fashion because, of course, we don't want bad actors to be flooding that hotline and making that number unusable. So that's why I'm not saying it right now when we're live streaming this portion, but at the end of comments, I will share that number out, and that number has also been on the slideshow that you've been seeing tonight. So in these dark and difficult times for reproductive freedom in Kentucky, I am often asked, what can I do? How can I help? And of course, last fall, many of you in this room helped in a big way by voting no on Amendment 2 and keeping anti-abortion language out of Kentucky. So we are working to build on the enormous success that we had around Amendment 2. We want to work to engage the really incredible volunteers from around the state who became active in that effort. And so to that end, and to share a little bit more information about that work, I want to welcome my colleague, ACLU of Kentucky Campaign Coordinator, Heather Anger.
Thank you, Amber. And thanks to all of you. A core value of our advocacy team is to ensure that you, our partners and our volunteers, know that your time is valued and that your voice and your efforts matter. Thank you for all you have done to support our work. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for all that you all will do in the future. There are moments when the path for reproductive freedom in Kentucky seems dark, but there are still many wins to be had, and we will get there with your help and support. Last November, Kentucky defeated a proposed anti-abortion constitutional amendment. Voters overwhelmingly told elected officials no. No to government interference in our private medical decisions, no to overreach in our personal lives, and no to a total abortion ban that causes undue hardship for already disenfranchised Kentuckians. There is still a legal path to abortion access in Kentucky, and we will never stop fighting to restore access to abortion. In the meantime, there are still wins to be had, and the path forward involves harm reduction work. There are things that we can do now to get us closer to a Kentucky where we all have the right to make decisions about our own bodies, our own health, and our own lives. The reality for many Kentuckians is that abortion has been out of reach for decades. We have been working for years to advance policy to provide relief and support to all pregnant Kentuckians. Our team has helped pass legislation to extend Medicaid coverage postpartum, accommodate pregnant people in the workplace, improve maternal outcomes here in Kentucky, and accommodate Kentuckians experiencing pregnancy, birth, and postpartum while incarcerated through the Dignity Bill Parts 1 and 2. I know that we are all angry and upset about what has happened here in our state, and we have every right to be. But the good news is we can and we will organize for the future that we want. You can start right now. Here are a few ways that we are asking you to join us. The first way is to join a local action team. This is our #1 ask right now. Local action teams will develop rapid response activities and proactive organizing strategy alongside the ACLU of Kentucky staff. The more people from your community that can engage in this fight, the better. We know that elected officials will respond if they feel that there is a groundswell for or against legislation from the community, and it only takes a few voices to make a big impact. The second way to get involved is to share your story with us. Your lived experience is incredibly important, and talking about it matters. Local and authentic stories and storytellers are critical to this work. You can share your story by writing an op-ed in your local paper, attending one of our lobby days in Frankfurt with elected officials and talking with them about why reproductive freedom matters to you, sharing your lived experience with us at the ACLU of Kentucky, or even just sharing it with your friends, neighbors, and community members. Stories are an impactful tool to affect change. Finally, you can join our Reproductive Freedom Project Facebook group. That's a dedicated space for volunteers and prospective volunteers. The Facebook group is a great way to connect with others all across the state of Kentucky and learn about organizing work that is happening in Kentucky that can help support our harm reduction efforts in a forced pregnancy state. Whether you just want to stay in the know or be able to dedicate some of your time to supporting these efforts, we have a place for you in this work. We can't wait to see what we can accomplish for reproductive freedom in Kentucky in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. While we prep for our legal challenge and we build out our volunteer strategy, we are also prioritizing policy work that we are calling harm reduction in a forced pregnancy state. We know the abysmal maternal mortality rates here in the Commonwealth. We know the disproportionate impact on Black and Brown Kentuckians. We know that people are suffering. We know in some cases folks are dying as a direct result of these abortion bans. Our policy work is more important than ever as we try to bring some measure of relief to those who are being forced to remain pregnant or give birth against their will. Please help me welcome ACLU of Kentucky Senior Policy Strategist Jackie McGranahan to share a little bit more.
Thank you so much, Amber. And before I start, I want to say a big thank you to the people who work alongside me. Breaking Barriers Council is a group of directly affected BIPOC individuals who have been an integral part of the work that we do in the Reproductive Freedom Project. And there are a few of them here tonight, so I want to say from all of us at the ACLU of Kentucky, thank you very much for the work you do. As Amber mentioned, I focus on policy and working with Kentucky lawmakers on reproductive freedom issues. These issue areas include, of course, restoring abortion access, but also to improve Black maternal health, expanding access to freestanding birth centers, increasing healthcare access for all pregnant individuals, and combating racism in healthcare, and advocating for paid leave for all Kentuckians. At the Reproductive Freedom Project benefit last year, we stood at the precipice of the November 2022 election, when Kentuckians were given the opportunity to vote on an anti-abortion Amendment 2, which would have altered Kentucky's constitution, offering no protections for abortion care, regardless of circumstance. We worked tirelessly alongside partners to defeat this anti-choice ballot measure, knocking on about 150,000 doors, sending thousands of texts, and making countless phone calls. In a remarkable victory, we defeated Amendment 2. We did that, y'all. Even with abortion access out of reach in Kentucky, there were still harmful bills filed. The fact that anti-choice leadership quickly and easily squashed these bills is a testament to the work that all of us have been doing across the state and the work that we've been doing in the Kentucky General Assembly. Our win on Amendment 2 has played a pivotal role in chilling further anti-abortion legislation. And it showed elected officials that abortion is a winning issue in Kentucky. While Kentucky remains a forced pregnancy state, we are steadfast in our dedication to restoring abortion access to complete reproductive freedom for all Kentuckians through education, advocacy, and litigation. My work in the Reproductive Freedom Project is informed by my experiences as a Black woman from Appalachia, a mother and a grandmother. I know that's really hard for all of you all to believe. But I've also had an abortion. My experiences and my story are not unique. And I can guarantee you I'm not the only person in this room. I am grateful. I am so grateful that I am able to lobby for reproductive freedom in the Kentucky General Assembly. But I am not blind to the fact that there are not many people in power who look like me or who have had similar experiences to mine. And it is crucial for legislators in Frankfurt to hear directly from a variety of diverse Kentuckians, not just the same ones that have been, we all gotta go up there. In addition to just passing legislation, one of our primary goals is to empower Kentuckians to know that the legislative session is not out of reach, but it is available to all of us to make our voices heard. We acknowledge that Kentucky is a forced birth state, a reality we are ready to change. But we didn't get here overnight, and we will not get out of this problem easily. We are hopeful that our policy work over the last 4 years will yield positive results in the upcoming legislative session, where our primary focus will be on improving maternal health outcomes in the state, addressing the immense racial disparities in maternal mortality rates, among many other issues. Additionally, we will continue to advocate for paid leave policies, and will continue our collaborative approach to achieving proactive wins. To achieve all of this, we need your help. We are pushing an ambitious slate of bills, and while we are confident that we will see some significant wins, we cannot do this without you. Our journey is far from over, and the path ahead will be challenging, but we will not give up. We will continue fighting, and we will call on all Kentuckians to join us in this fight, whether it's at the courts, the ballot box, or at the State House. Fighting for reproductive freedom in Kentucky isn't easy, but it's worth fighting for. With your support, your advocacy, your dedication, we can make a difference in the lives of countless Kentuckians. Together, we will work towards a future where reproductive freedom is a reality for all, and where the decisions about whether to start a family or not start a family are left up to the pregnant person, their doctor, and their family, and nobody else.
Thank you so much, Jackie. So tonight we've shared with you our legal, our organizing, and our policy strategy for reproductive freedom in the Commonwealth. You may have seen, as you were coming in tonight, some of our opponents were protesting. So even though we don't even have abortion available in the state of Kentucky, our opposition still practices free speech. We support free speech and we'll certainly practice that. But it is good to note that our opposition is still organizing. So we ask you all that care so much about this work to stay involved. Please consider supporting this work with a donation if you can. On your tables, there are beautiful blue cards that are next to the flowers that have a QR code that you can scan to make a donation. If you are interested to give the gift of your time, if you want to sign up to engage or get re-engaged with volunteer work or going to the Capitol, you can speak to Heather and Jackie about that and they can point you in the right direction. We also ask you the little table that's over here in the corner with the lavender tablecloth. That's a table where our Breaking Barriers Council, thank you, Katina. Our Breaking Barriers Council partners have put information about their organizations on that table, so please stop by and look at that information. And I also thought I would take a moment, I'm looking at Dr. Ananicia Williams from Sister Song. So I just wanted folks to join me in congratulating Sister Song. They are going to be opening their Kentucky satellite office tomorrow.